Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the always informative, always entertaining, the Boxing Authorities. Join me at the desk, as always, Luther Bree Jr., Smoking Jim Frazier, and my name is Claudio Relsano. That left is getting a little slower and slower. I don't know.
That ain't Ryan Garcia's left hook.
It's better behaves.
There you go. We are going to start off with the Boxing Authority news. Luther, you're always, you never believe anything that comes out of a lot of these camps, and you've been proven right. But can Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, sign Terrence Crawford and the new free agent, Edgar Berlanga? He said to Berlanga, we'll fly to you. We want to get this done. And he's really courting Crawford with him and Bernard Hopkins, and you think either is going to happen?
You know what? Terrence Bud Crawford, I call him Duck Crawford until he fights Errol Spence. He's doing everything he can to avoid Spence. He went to a startup, Black BLK Prime. Went there, he claimed he got $10 million. I'm still waiting to see the receipts. Now he's jumping over to Golden Boy, doing his thing there. He couldn't go to the Spence Ugas fight, but he was at this fight with Rocha, Alex Rocha, who may be his next opponent. But why would you put your hands in a man who's lost Canelo Alvarez? He hasn't been committed. He lost a bunch of fighters to PBC, and he's online talking about looking for a thong for his 50th birthday. The man wears fishnets on a regular basis. I think we have a picture of that. Why would you put your hands?
We don't need a picture of that.
No. Why would you put your hands in a man like that? Listen, I love Oscar the fighter, but Oscar the promoter has dropped the ball numerous times. And Bud Crawford.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah. Yeah. Pardon the pun. Bud Crawford continues to make bad decision after bad decision. Spence fight is right there. PBC, all the top 147 and 150 fighters, I thought he was going to, I thought he said he wanted to be his own boss, but now you're going back under Golden Boy. I'm so disappointed in Bud Crawford. He's going to continue to cherry pick. Here's my prediction. He's going to fight Alex Rocha. He's going to fight Victor Ortiz, and then he's going to retire. He won't fight Boots Ennis. Yes, a cherry-picking Bud Crawford is what he's looking for. He won't fight Boots Ennis. He won't fight Errol Spence. He's going to fight those two fights and retire. That's my prediction, and it's sad the way he's going out. Bud Crawford needs to make the big fights, and it's obvious now. He's ducking Spence, and he's ducking Boots Ennis. He'll never fight the top guys.
Smoking?
Well, I had a great uncle that was a bootlegger, and he used to always say, "The
What,
white
a bootlicker?
man." He used to always say, "The white man ice is colder than mine." So I guess now with Golden Boy, the Mexican ice is colder than mine. I think it's a great move for Bud
Who's he
Crawford.
going to fight? Who's he going to fight?
I think it's a great move because Golden Boy has a great reputation, putting on great fights. Bud Crawford is losing a little bit of his, celebrityship
When did he have
because
it?
of
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia and some of these younger boxers is coming up and taking over. The older boxers are getting a little older. I mean, nobody wants to see Spence and Crawford anymore because there's more buzz in boxing than that. So I think late in his career, this is good. I would love to see him fight. I don't know if he can beat Virgil Ortiz. That would be a great fight. Two great fighters, two future Hall of Fame fighters. So I would sign with Golden Boy, definitely.
A couple of things
My great uncle would agree.
I would definitely side with Golden Boy because he still has some power. He still has the name.
Yes.
He just lost Canelo.
I know. But he does need another named fighter.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
And I think that this would be a great pickup for Golden Boy. But I don't know because if Oscar does sign him, he's going to want him to fight Spence. Okay? And I don't know if Crawford's going to sign with Oscar because that's
when
when
when he can keep everything
right.
in house.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if Crawford's going to want. This might be just a show, and he might not sign with Oscar because Oscar. One of the stipulations may very well be you have to fight Spence, and this way he's his own free agent. Again, we said this before.
Spence never wanted to fight
Jim,
Crawford.
that's a lie. Stephen.
saying it for 4
Stephen.
years.
Okay, but who's making the moves not to make the fight happen? They were
Spence.
negotiating. No, that's a lie. They were negotiating. Bud Crawford left and found this BLK Prime and fought David Amnesia, and nobody wanted to see that fight.
Is he
left.
is he a free agent and is he picking, or is
He's
he
a free
signed
agent.
with?
That was a one-fight deal. He claimed he was getting $10 million, and now he's a free agent.
Could he be using Golden Boy for this new promotion? What's it called again?
BLK Prime.
BLK
I doubt it.
You know what I'm trying to say? I don't think he's going to leave them because they're going to let him fight who he wants to fight.
Right.
De La Hoya is going to say, you see what I'm saying? De La
De
Hoya
La
is
Hoya
going to
wants
say,
in-house fights. But what I'm saying, I don't think Crawford wants to take a loss this close to the end of his career. He wants to avoid Boots Ennis, who's a top
But this doesn't hurt
147.
his
He wants to
legacy.
avoid Spence. He doesn't care. What does he say? I'm already a Hall of Famer, and I don't need this fight. We've heard him say that numerous times, and the way he's moving is proven he doesn't want those fights.
Crawford was signed with Madoff if he felt like he could get the money.
you know, what's the one thing we say?
I'm so disappointed in Bud Crawford.
What's the one thing we say about Riddick Bowe? As great of a fighter as
His
he was,
legacy, he threw that belt away to avoid Lennox Lewis, and he regrets it to this day. Bud Crawford will be remembered for ducking Spence fight and ducking Boots Ennis for the rest of his career if he doesn't fight those guys.
it isn't like we're asking him to fight we want him to fight Spence.
Spence
I
or
told y'all
Boots
4 years
Ennis.
ago. I told y'all 4
Jim,
years
what-
ago. Listen, I'm the only.
Who has he
one-
fought at
I'm the only
147?
true prophet in this case. I said 4 years ago. I was the only one
That's
that
a
said
lie,
it
first
on
of
our
all.
other show. I said Spence will never fight Crawford. He don't want to. He has no interest in fighting Crawford.
Jim,
Now
and
y'all wanna put it on
that's all.
Crawford.
And Jim, I'm not going to let you continue to tell
You
these
can
lies,
see the
these
Roberto
fake moves.
Clemente Bridge from here, but you can't see Dallas.
I can see how people
And I'll
move.
be back in Dallas in June.
I can see how people move, and Bud Crawford's doing everything he can to prevent this fight. When you
When
go
you
to a
like
startup,
somebody.
no. When you go to a startup and fight a C-level guy who's not
He
even a
went
top
with a
five,
black-owned company.
he went with a company you never heard of, who also signed Adrian Broner.
Clint Hurdle says you are who your baseball card says you are, and he's not going to fight Spence. He's not going to fight
His
this guy. He's not gonna
resume
fight this
is
resume.
full of C-level
Now,
guys.
when he when Aram and him were together after which fight was that?
The Porter fight.
Porter fight. And they parted ways.
He said,
What
couldn't-
did you and I say?
We
Well,
said,
now
we can nap it.
he's going to fight.
And now what happened?
'Cause we're blaming Aram.
Right. And what did he do? He went to 2 other promotional companies. If he does sign with Golden Boy,
That's what I said.
that
You are
proves
your baseball
he didn't
card
want
says
to
you
fight.
are.
He left.
How was that, the Onion Farmer and Sugar Ray Robinson 3, how'd that go? Because the Onion Farmer said, I ain't taking the sucker share. You ain't giving him $750,000.
But they fought at least once prior.
$350,000. He turned it
Yeah.
down.
Do you know the
Jim,
numbers
he-
for Spence Crawford?
Yeah,
What?
70% for Spence.
That's not what it
30% for
was,
Crawford,
Jim.
And Crawford
Jim,
wasn't taking no sucker share.
It was not.
And I don't blame him.
It was never 70-30. And what did Bud Crawford? He went on social media and said, I agreed to everything.
Right.
And the next thing you know, he signed with BOK. The way he's moving, he's told too many inconsistencies.
He was agreeing with everything, but there was some small stuff.
Yeah. And
The
then
small
all-
stuff kept him from
and then,
fighting
and
the
then
big
all
one.
of a sudden, he signed a
Me-
guy that
me
nobody
and
ever heard
Kellerman's
of.
on the same side of the table. with
And
this.
Kellerman's been wrong a lot.
This fight has to happen for. Oh, let me ask you, who's this fight have to happen more for?
Bud,
Spencer fight.
Bud, because he's at the end of his career. He's going to end his career with no legacy fights on his resume.
And money. Did he really make
Spence,
10?
he's moving to 154. There's a Jamel Charlo. There's a Fedor fight. There were a number of fights that he can make. There's a Canelo fight he may be able to get. So, and he has a lot longer
What's
left
the
in his career.
fastest car that you can go with a convertible?
Here you go, Jim. You always want to bring
No,
up
I'm
some,
just saying.
some
you
car.
keep saying
You always
his
want to bring
wife,
up some.
but
He can't help it. He got
He's
hit.
dragging a guy out that got 2 fights in 4 years.
Name me his signature fight.
Does Bud have
Spence
a,
is dragging the guy out with
He's
2
a
fights
former
in 4
3-belt.
years.
He was 3-belt
that
champion.
just got beat by a guy that got beat in politics.
And really, that was close to you.
Joe Biden
That was
beat
him
him.
that was coming off of an injury,
Oh
Jim.
my goodness! I mean, come on, man. The guy don't want to fight. He got all the talent in the world. He was a great
Jim,
amateur
Jim,
fighter.
You're
but
not
he-
going to keep slandering
Well,
Spence.
let me
In
play
my
devil's.
opinion.
Let me play devil's advocate here, somewhat.
Please don't.
Could Spence do more to turn this fight up?
He's done everything he can.
Yeah.
He gave Crawford everything he wanted. Crawford even admitted.
Not 50-50.
Crawford, why would he give him 50-50?
Whoa!
You
Now
got
the
3 belts.
truth comes out. I knew the truth would
Crawford-
probably come out.
listen,
Come flying out
Crawford-
your beard.
Perry, Jerry makes
Crawford agreed to it. He said, I signed everything.
rest my case.
I agreed to everything. What does that mean to you? You agreed to everything on the contract, but you wouldn't sign
my
it.
goodness.
So I don't want to
With
hear,
your
take another
Ebonics.
L, Jim, like you took all last year. Take an L. Bud doesn't want this
But
fight.
here's one thing we can all agree on. Nobody cares about that fight.
Jim, that's
Right now,
fake news.
It's getting that way. It's getting that way. Yes.
It used
yes,
to, it never
yes.
was this high.
But let me
just
ask
say
you
it
this,
was
though. Let me
high.
ask you this.
Now
If
it's
they
way
do sign
up
it,
there.
if they sign it, do you think the interest will ramp up?
Edie got to go
course.
back to Zaire and fight on top of that
Oh.
prison.
And we can't blame Aram anymore. We can't blame the NHL anymore.
I like
Right?
to see Don King take over. I bet you Don King. can
Don
get them
King
guys
has
to
been
fight.
has been blackballed from doing any big time fights. You're right. Don
About the
King would
NHL.
give us all the
You
big
missed
fights.
my line about the NHL. You're making
Oh,
me
my
hang.
fault.
You're making me hang now about the NHL.
Don King, we would be on the trilogy right now if he was the promoter.
That's true.
You know, that's the bad thing. You know,
Oscar-
fighters
also-
didn't get all their money, but the fans got every fight we wanted.
Right.
I
Oscar
want that era
signs
back again.
Edgar Berlanga.
Pardon me?
You think he'll sign Berlanga?
I think he
He
can.
really wants to sign.
You know, of course, it'd be another guy he could put in against Jaime Munguia, against Edgar Berlanga. That would be a very good fight. Mexican, Puerto Rican crowds going against each other, and they're both evenly matched. I'd like to see it. I think Berlanga, you know, that would be a good move for him, or even at PBC. They have a number of 168-pounders. But I'm shocked that them and Top Rank couldn't-
Right, that's what I was going to get to,
couldn't make it
because you
happen.
said he moved him right, and you liked the way they were moving him. So you answered my question.
I'm
You're
shocked.
shocked.
I'm
I
completely
was
shocked that Top Rank and Berlanga couldn't.
Do you
So
think
I don't know.
Berlanga's thinking a little bit too high of himself?
I believe so, and I think Top Rank said, "Whoa, we pushed
Which you
this
called
guy
a
little."
long time ago.
Yeah, I said I thought he was a hype job, and he hasn't improved much. Once he got tougher competition, we see him get dropped. We've seen some things get exposed, and now he's out there. We'll see. I think Golden Boy able to match him up with Munguia and some of those guys they have over there. If he goes to PBC, they have some monsters at 168. You're talking Caleb Plant, Bubu Andrade. You're talking
But
the
the money's
monster,
there, though.
David Benavidez. So it's open for him. He can make a good change.
Now, you got to give him credit. Okay, he did say, again, Canelo John Ryder. He's right. He did say something on our other show, Steel City Sports World, about the steroid baseball players aren't in the Hall of Fame, but their managers are. He's the
Right,
first one I heard
right,
say that. I'm
right.
giving him his credit.
Appreciate
wait,
that.
what else? What else?
man, we could go on for
this.
days.
No. You're right, about Berlanga. You did say, is he a hype job? Or
Yeah,
are
I
they
said he was a
moving
hype
him
job.
well? So I was curious to see your answer to that.
Because
Were you
I've seen
surprised?
a lot of his sparring, and I saw the flaws before everybody else saw him. I saw 154-pounders dropping him, and I saw his defensive lapses. You know, so he has a lot to work on, but he does have a nice crowd with him. He has the rappers, Fat Joe, the Puerto Rican, New York audience. So he brings something with him, but he's going to have to pick up his skill level. But I'd like to see him match up with some of those guys at 168 from PBC, the Bubu Andrades. That would be
Oh, that'd be
exciting.
nice. I'll do what I've been right about another time. But we gave Smoking Jim right about the pitchfork in the eye.
Yeah, we
and,
heard
whatever the hell
Vinny
else.
say it. We don't know if
But he's
Vinny-
batting like 250.
Yeah,
though. He
Jim,
does a
yeah.
lot of wrong.
Jim got a
information.
whole lot of JMZ stuff with him.
Your thoughts on Oscar getting Berlanga, and would it benefit Berlanga?
Well, first of all, we gotta get Berlanga out of the bed with all the salsa dancers. I mean, this guy's a celebrity. I mean, he's worse than any Philadelphia fighter right now. I think that you'd have to go, he really needs to get with somebody like me that will break his career all the way down and bring him back up if he's willing to do that. He's a shot fighter right now. He has no
Shot
confidence. He's not pulling the trigger. He's like AB was.
Ooh,
He's not
AB
throwing
was or
punches.
AB is?
He's confused. He don't know if he wants to go the distance to get rounds in or knock somebody out. He really has to go back to the drawing board. I agree with Luther right now. He's very popular, like a Philadelphia fighter. Fat Joe's there. But as far as boxing skills right now, he doesn't have, he's a confused guy. He had one too many trainers in his corner.
Which is what Luther talked about, a lot of different trainers. And the ones that he has have not, in my opinion, have not utilized his strengths. A baseball analogy, Whitey Herzog, when he was with St. Louis in the early 80s, he had jackrabbits, Ozzie Smith, Vince Coleman. He had one guy in 85 who hit home runs, Jack Clark. So what did he do? Did he want Ozzie to hit home runs? You're a baseball
no.
guy. What did he
Get
do?
on base
Bunt, hit
still.
and run.
Yeah.
Willie McGee. Right. His
on
power
low
was
speed.
getting on first base, stealing second and third. So he adapted to his team, which is a good coach should do. A trainer should kind of do that. Look, what are his strengths? Are they to slug? No. To be a boxer puncher, I'm okay with him being a boxer puncher, but I don't think he's been taught well just yet, but there's still time. Do you agree with that?
I think there's still time, but he really has to get into it. He's getting older, and he's at a level where he's not fighting these C-level guys anymore. So it's going to be tough for him. He has to really get in there and put in the work, and I'm not sure if he has the right trainers to do it.
See, most fighters, their dream is world championship. He
Here you
grew
go.
up.
Here
He
you
grew
go.
up. His dream was to capture Puerto Rican Day. That's all he
Aw,
cared about.
here you
That's
go,
all he
Jim.
cared about. When he went
According
to
to you.
when he went to his
According
first,
to
I
you.
want to fight on Puerto Rican Day. Who used to fight on Puerto Rican Day? Who was that?
Trinidad. Was it a Felix Trinidad?
Or whoever. Yeah, Trinidad. Now he.
Not Court.
No.
Somebody.
You're right.
So
I think you might be right.
now he fought in Madison Square Garden and all these other places. He's a celebrity now.
So he lost his
achieved
hunger.
goal. Yeah, he has. He's not hungry.
So you're saying it's more mental than I mean, you say he's a shot fighter. I don't think he's a shot
think
fighter
he's a shot
physically, but
mentally, yeah,
he could be mentally.
yeah. I mean, he don't know how to fight anymore because he's got this trainer, that trainer.
Yeah,
this
He
trainer.
does
too
look
many,
confu- he does
too
look
many
confused in there.
philosophies.
Yeah.
Too many
Yeah.
philosophies.
So he's in there thinking instead of just doing what he should be doing naturally.
He's
I think.
like the analogy I use. He's a wounded lion.
Does he
in the
remind you of
jungle.
Anthony Joshua? Jim?
No, nothing at all.
All these
But you know,
trainers.
Because
You
Josh
mentioned-
was already a
sorry.
Hall of Famer. But what
Which I don't think so.
But when I talk about when I talk to these fighters about being a wounded lion in the jungle,
Wounded lion.
who wins? The healthy lion wins. They see that you're wounded. They take you apart. He's a wounded lion right
But
now.
these
And they're
trainers-
trying
Are
to
you
push
talking about him
along.
or Anthony Joshua? A wounded lion.
Before the show, Jim and I were
Wounded
talking
lions
about,
cry sometimes. I saw him crying at the last press conference, Jim.
and I want your opinion on this because you get a lot of questions about trainers
But
because
one
you're
thing,
into that.
a black ear tastes good.
That's something else
We
you didn't
can
know
all
about.
agree to that.
Oh my goodness.
I've been
you've
very
tasted it,
critical. I've been very critical about baseball coaches and football coaches. That what do you see the football coaches do? You see them
Yeah.
doing this, calling plays, but are they making anybody better? Baseball, in my opinion, and I think it's a damn good opinion, I don't think they're making players better. They don't even call plays anymore. They just want home runs. But are boxing trainers making these guys better? Or are they just coming up with a strategy, that doesn't fit that guy?
From what I've seen and when I've talked to older boxing trainers, some of these new guys shouldn't be training. I mean, they have all these new analytics. Don't do road work. Don't do this. And
then this,
it's not
which I know
working.
you don't like.
No, the ropes. And yeah, a lot of these techniques are just techniques. Somebody's making a quick buck, but they're not actually helping the fighter. So old school trainers hate a lot of these new school techniques. And I agree with them. You see it in the skill. We don't get the fights. We don't get the skill development that we used to in the past.
Now, when we talked about, to you, football expert, when you talked about the old coaches, the Chuck Knowles, Chuck Knoxes, Don Shula, Tom Landry, what do you always say about them? That they coach all positions, right? So they just don't do one thing, right? They defense, offense, passing, running game. It seems like these trainers are trying to, what's the term I'm looking, funnel or
Make people adapt to their system.
Right.
Yeah,
They're trying to cookie cut. You do things my way.
Right.
Okay. Maybe a poor example. They would want a Marciano or a Frazier to be like Muhammad, or you'd want Muhammad to be like Frazier, Marciano. You can't do. You work on their strengths. Do you see that with the trainers today?
Well, one thing, I had a great aunt in Savannah, Georgia, and she had a thing with the Undertaker, and he would save the ears because she put that in a pot of grease with some ham on it.
We're knowing everything about Jim's
Some
family.
black
Bootlegger.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
You got-
goodness! Give me the ears.
We didn't know how many cannibals you got in your family, Jim. My gosh, we learning all kinds of things about Jim.
Bootleggers.
Jim
ears.
had an ear before he came in.
Is that where Tyson got it?
That's why
Better
you,
than Eminem.
Is that where Tyson got it with
that's where
Evander?
you and Mike Tyson got along so well.
But so if you're Berlinga, would you sign with Oscar?
Yeah, might as well. I mean, he'd get a Munguia fight and he'd get moved a certain way. But I think all the 168, it's at PBC. That's where all the top guys are.
All right. Okay, well, when we come back, we're going to talk about February fights. Not a lot of them, but we're going to talk about the ones that are relatively
Neckbones.
out there. All right, when we come back to the boxing authorities. Welcome back to the boxing authorities. We're not clock fixers.
Yeah, right.
But, okay. All right. Amanda Serrano, 43, 2-1. She is the WBC, WBO, IBF champion. Will be fighting Erica Cruz, 15-1 and 3 knockouts for the undisputed World Featherweight Championship. That is the main event. We'll talk about the undercard in a second. But Luther, your thoughts on that?
Amanda Serrano, pound for pound, one of the top female fighters in the sport. She was robbed against Katie Taylor. She dominated that fight. She had Katie Taylor hurt. She got robbed in New York. I was disappointed. But she gets to take out her frustration on Erica Cruz. She's going to, I think she stops her in maybe 5 rounds. You know, great for the sport. She's dedicated. She has no outside interest right now. She says she's not going to get married until she retires. So she's focused on the sport. And I think she stopped Cruz and becomes undisputed at her natural weight, featherweight. And then she goes back, and I think she will stop Katie Taylor. It was a robbery. I love everything about Amanda Serrano. Dedicated to sport, goes hard, throws a bunch of punches. She gets her payback here.
And it's at Madison Square Garden, and they're going to pack the place.
Yes, they are.
I'll be right back. Smoking Jim, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, That's
all right. I'm trying to fix this clock here. The thing isn't working. We have a high budget here. See, it's not ticking. Luther thought I could fix it. I'll go like, how about if I do it manually? Look. I'll go like this. Is that good? All right. Go ahead.
But again, you know, I love the direction of women's boxing.
You've been ripping on it for
Chill.
a year.
You're all over the place.
I mean, they have no choice but to go up. I mean, you got somebody here with, you know, 46 fights fighting somebody with 15 fights. Come on, man.
Yeah, but she's at the top. She's still.
She's a champion.
She's a champion. She's
Most
good.
of these fighters got 15 or less.
She's ranked
fights.
top 5. If I'm not
Right. She has a
mistaken.
WBA belt. She's a champion,
Most
Jim.
of
She has to fight
most
her.
of the best women fighters got 15 fights or less. And she's one of the
Wait a
exceptions
minute.
to the rule.
He said the best ones are fighting. They have 15 fights or less. Well, she has 15 fights, so this is a good fight.
No, but she's fighting Amanda Serrano.
Amanda's a legend.
But you
She's
said
a legend
everybody with
before she-
15 fights and under is good. The best ones.
The best ones because that's all they have. That's all they have. That's what I'm
Jim.
saying. It's on decline.
He's losing me.
It's
Jim's-
on decline.
Help me out.
Jim didn't have a CTE.
Yeah, it's on
You
decline.
don't think they're going to sell the place
Jim.
out?
Well, that's fine. That's great.
And Serrano just came
Thanks
off
to
of
Jake
a loss.
Paul. Thanks to Jake
Well,
Paul.
but the fighters have to be worthwhile.
Right.
She had a very good fight that she lost. She's not taking a year and a half off.
She's coming
2
right back,
years.
fighting for
But-
undisputed.
Yeah.
Will Spence or Serrano sell out the PPG arena in Pittsburgh? No. Okay, you're selling out
Good point.
Dallas. They're selling out Madison Square
But they're still
Garden. That's
selling.
good.
That's
They're
a
not putting on
sellout.
San Martino where
Good
they go
point. I was
anywhere
thinking
and
of
sell
that.
out.
Good point. That is a good point. Okay, but you're right. But that is a good question. Would Spence Crawford sell out here in Pittsburgh?
No.
I believe it would.
Spence
I believe it
wouldn't.
would.
Spence wouldn't.
Well, Spence is
You
a-
believe it would? Michael
New York
Moore,
is-
Michael Moore was the world middleweight champion. I mean, light heavyweight
light
champion
heavyweight.
of the world. And I tell you what, they was giving away tickets at the Civic Arena and couldn't get it half filled. And he was the world
But
champion.
listen, right now,
Uh-huh.
I think this fight could sell out.
What?
An arena
You
here.
think?
I'm pretty sure. I'm certain.
The NBA, they
Listen,
only want the NBA.
Earl
here.
Spence packed
You think
50,000.
they want Spence here?
Earl Spence packed 50,000 in Texas.
Yeah, there's some
So
town.
it doesn't matter.
Dallas, not
Hey,
Texas,
listen.
in Dallas.
And he could
Tell him to
pack
go to
10,000
Houston
here.
and see what happens.
50,000 here. He could do 10,000 here easy. 10,
10,000,
20,000.
it holds 20.
Come on, he could do 20,000 here.
How many freebies?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, really.
Let's stick to the topic, Jim.
Okay.
You always try to find a way
I'm just saying.
to say, oh, it's on the rise, then you start slandering women's boxing.
Well, you know what he
Jim,
says
you're all
about
over the
anybody,
place.
right? He's a friend of mine.
And then
he
starts to
blasts
slander.
them.
Yeah.
You're getting like Ralph blasting everybody. All right. Now, the thing I like about it is, again, she fought, lost, and she's fighting again relatively soon. She's not waiting a year and a half and all that kind of stuff, or thinking about it, or having any issues. She's fighting again, which is great for female boxing. And again, Madison Square Garden, iconic
She's
place.
waiting on me for marriage.
Maybe. Okay, so I give her credit. I give Cruz credit for making such a big jump to fight her. And so who do you predict?
Oh, Amanda Serrano's knocking her out. I told
Ooh,
you.
knockout?
Yeah, she's going to get stopped. I think Cruz gets stopped at about 6 rounds. Amanda Serrano hurts. She had Katie Taylor hurt numerous times. I think she finishes the job and becomes undisputed at featherweight.
Again.
Hey, she's one of the greats. One of the
You know
greats.
what? I messed up. Okay, did we, going back to our last show, did we make predictions for Fury Lennox?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
said-
I agree with you. My fault. My apologies. That's all right. It's our
Yeah.
show. We can do what we want. I say it's a stoppage. Lennox
Yeah, I said-
stoppage. Not a
yeah.
knockout because he has a great chance. Recuperation stoppage.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Oh, you know Fury. Fury destroyed.
I said Lewis
Forgive
stops
me.
him in 10.
Maybe I got CT. I'm forgetting stuff. Who do you? I got Amanda Serrano in this fight. I'm going to go with a decision. I think she gets her in a unanimous decision. What do you think?
Well, I know Dana White wouldn't slap her around, but hey, listen, I'm going with Amanda Serrano. She's a combat. Serrano. She's a combat war fighter. She fought in every type of mixed martial arts to boxing. She's a fighter. She's beautiful. She's great for the sport. Nothing against Erica Cruz, but I think this is Serrano's deal.
All right. On the undercard,
My baby.
Alicia Baumgartner, 13-1 against Elhelm Mekhaled, 15-1 for the undisputed super featherweight title. This is on the undercard of Madison Square Garden, which again, how many times have we seen a main event and then the other cards, fights you just don't care? This is a nice card.
It's a nice card.
Your thoughts?
Listen, Alicia Baumgartner, the bomb. What can you say? She could be an IG model. She could be a WWE superstar. She looks great. The weigh-ins are exciting. It's just a great thing. I think she's going to do what she always does. Come out there, great weigh-in. That's another thing about women's boxing. The weigh-ins are better. The fights are better. We're getting the best fight, the best. She's going to knock her out. I see 2 knockouts coming in on this card. I think she can get Makhmudov. I think she can knock her out. She has a lot of power, and her style is so pleasing to the eye. She's moving, she's flexible, and she has a big right hand, and she can do it all. And after this fight, I would like to see her and also Michaela Mayer get it on again. That was a great fight. That was a great fight. You don't want it. You're scared of that fight,
I'm
aren't you?
scared.
It got to happen
I don't
again.
think my baby could beat her again.
Your baby, huh?
Does she know she's your baby? Does she know?
Harrison's baby, but whatever. No, that's the trainer.
Already saved. Ooh.
That's her trainer.
Who's getting mad?
Old liver spots.
Oh, gosh.
Listen, is this for Undisputed?
Yes.
At 13 wins. They make my case. I rest my case. She got 13 wins,
but look-
this is for the Undisputed. That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
with you. For
Women's
the male
boxing
side.
But
was
listen.
down here 5 years ago, and it's climbing.
It's at
But
the top.
a-
It's the best. When have
climbing.
all these matches been at Madison Square Garden, Jim?
Oh, my goodness. That doesn't make for
You know what? Here,
experience.
get the camera on me a second.
There's
It's
no-
a different time. It's a
Different
different time.
time. Exactly, Jim.
There's
You got to
no-
give them their credit, Jim.
There's
I-
no
you're right.
substitute for experience.
I'm with you. But when it comes to the men, the female, they've been around a while, but now it's just starting to build
around
up.
what?
The best are fighting the
Right.
best,
They're
Jim.
fighting the
Whether they
best.
had 42, whether they had 15,
No.
they had the belts,
Well,
and you see the
that's
skill
fine.
level.
That's fine.
You're
That's
getting
fine.
all the fights you want to
That's
see.
fine. I
There's
used to
not
like-
a women's fight
I
in
used to
22.
like Jello and mud wrestling too. But,
Oh, God.
I mean, most of these women don't have many amateur fights. I mean, like I said, they're good. When I watch it, I'm watching something that if they continue to build, it can build. But when you're talking Undisputed at 13 fights.
Okay, let me ask you this: the resume. Now, I'm with you for the
How
experience.
many fights Lomo have? So
Right.
how many fights does Lomo have?
He had amateur. That's what I said. His amateur.
You're
they
more
don't
well-versed.
have the amateur career.
You're more well versed in the female boxing. Baumgartner's 13 wins. Does she have more names on her
has
record
a lot of
than
great
than,
names.
on the male side when they fight 13 wins?
Exactly.
Right?
You
Name me
figure-
5 amateurs she fought in her
We're
amateur
not
career.
talking about
She probably
amateurs.
Don't have
We're not
5
talk-
amateur fights.
Okay, and sometimes
But
it
her
just goes
pro
straight for
career
her
has
pro
more-
career. She's fought champions. She's already fought a Michaela Mayer. They were both
Right.
belt champions, not belt holders.
So right now, women are
And
going
then,
from,
see,
women
the-
are
listen-
going
listen-
from here to coaching in the NFL. Are they better coaches than the men? Or are they climbing? They're climbing. That's what I'm saying
Jim,
here. I'm not.
look at
I'm
her
not
13
putting them
and
down.
0, and look,
She's
listen
climbing.
at her 13 and 0, and look at some of these other
Right,
guys.
that's
They're
what I'm
fighting guys 6 and 40,
But they
or
have
2 and
amateur
10.
backgrounds.
Not all
She
of
don't
them.
have it.
Not all of
Yeah,
them, Jim.
they all.
Not all.
They
Not
all.
all.
Do you think
Not
that
all.
somebody
But
like-
most, not
Okay,
all, not all,
most.
but most.
I think
As Jesse Peterson would say.
I think
Jesse Peters.
I think a lot of them aren't like Serrano. I think is going to be a little bit different. She has all these fights. The rest of them are saying, "I'm not going to spend all this time fighting." So they're going to fight. I don't see Baumgartner fighting 40 times. She's going to fight maybe 6 more times, make a buck, then maybe
And
go to
then maybe
WWE.
move on.
I would
Right.
like that.
You know what I'm trying to say?
That's where the
Exactly.
money's at. That's
Well,
where the money's
Serrano's
at.
going to be one of the rarities to fight 42 wins.
She'll have 50 wins maybe by the time she retires. You know?
Serrano.
About the
Serrano,
same
not
Right,
Serrano.
but not Alicia or
Right, I don't
Marshall
see it. I
or
don't-
Taylor or none of them. I think they're not gonna spend so much time doing that. They're gonna fight, make a quick hit, like Boomer Mancini said. My career was not. I did not want to have a long career. He said I wanted to make a quick score.
Is
He
that
only
why he
fought-
didn't fight Aaron Pryor?
Here you go with the
I'm just
Aaron Pryor.
asking. I'm just asking.
Why is it? Wait a minute. Wait, we got a pattern
Aaron
here. Marciano ducked Liston, Italian guy. Mancini ducked Pryor, Italian guy. You get on him. We're starting to see a trend.
Right,
We're starting to see a
I
trend.
like to learn.
Where's the X at? Hold
That's
up
right.
the X.
But I think that, again, we joke, but I think they're going to fight a few fights, make a big buck. Then, what was that girl's name? Ronda Rousey. She
Ronda
made a
Rousey.
killing
Yeah,
in
now back-
wrestling.
yeah.
And why
WWE.
wouldn't they do it? And not only would they make more money, wrestling, but
Not the physical abuse, on
not
her
the
face,
physical
right.
abuse. And the WWE knows how to promote that person, where she can go into movies.
Movies or TV,
Well,
yeah.
who's going to do that for her in boxing? I'll say, the beautiful woman, both of them, Serrano and Alicia.
Baumgartner.
Let's just use those two right now. And they're beautiful women, very skilled, like you said. They look good when they punch. They don't
Right,
throw.
right.
They don't look like. But who knows? I'm not saying who knows
You don't
about
wanna
them.
Use Clarissa.
Well,
there you go.
but okay, but the WWE, am I wrong in saying they would promote them?
Yes.
They would be in movies, and they would sell out here in Pittsburgh if they
Yes,
fought at the
they
arena.
would. They
You know what I'm
would.
saying? Because the WWE, they have a machine behind them, and these individuals do not have a machine behind them.
And one thing with the WWE.
And they have Vince McMahon behind them, so he has a
McMahon.
lot behind him.
But the one thing that WWE will allow, they will allow you to have babies.
You can have
Rousey, what's her name?
Ronda Rousey.
She had a baby.
Did she?
Ric Flair's daughter just had a baby, and they're right back wrestling. See,
But
here
now
you
they-
have a baby, you lose your momentum. That's why Serrano said she's gonna wait.
But the thing is, what I'm saying is, I don't think they're going to fight a lot of fights. I think they're going to fight good quality fights,
Yeah.
make a big buck, get their
It's the
make
best
a name.
it's ever been, Jim.
Right.
Give them
WWE
credit.
is family friendly.
Well, but if they see somebody that they can market, you know damn well they're going to market them.
Right,
there.
right.
And I think these women would be smart because at the end of the day, if you can have your cake and eat it too, make money in boxing, make a name for yourself, win a belt, go to WWE. I think that's a great path.
do too.
For
I
sure.
do too.
Now, Adrian Broner was supposed to fight, I forgot who, then he was
It
fighting
was Ivan
Lundy.
Redcash.
Redcash.
Then it was Hank Lundy.
Yeah.
BLK Prime is having a lot of trouble, when you
Is
start.
it them though, or are you going to blame the fighter?
Well, look at their two events. There was problems with Bud Crawford when he fought David Amnesia. There was some glove issues, and David Amnesia is now filing a suit
Black-owned
because of that.
business.
I'm just whatever it is, and now you can't get it. And I don't know if it's the bigger promotional companies trying to take it to BLK Prime because they're trying to jump in on this market. So they're saying, no, you can't have this fighter. You can't have this fighter. Now he's fighting a guy, Michael Williams.
Which everybody, that's what I wanted to ask you. Everybody's, and I didn't do any research on it, but I did this morning. He's ranked, unless I read it wrong, 596th
Yeah.
I got
And he
him
was
ranked a little higher.
We have 5'9", you have him like third
500.
with
huh,
Torres.
Joe? Listen, this guy, we saw him on Top Rank. He was getting punched around like a pinata. He went down about 8 times. If Adrian Broner can't beat this guy's not really experienced, 20 wins, but the level of competition isn't very good.
But they're
When
saying
he
this is
stepped
a
up
dangerous fight for Williams.
for what? For Williams,
Yeah.
not for Broner.
No, for
Yeah,
Williams. I mean, dangerous physically.
Yeah,
Broner could
because
beat the hell out of him.
I mean, because he's not
got a good
skilled. He's young.
Yeah, but who did he fight?
He didn't fight anybody. This is a step. When they stepped him up on ESPN, he was just getting beat around and really took a beating.
Right.
Adrian Broner can really do something. I'm glad he's getting this opportunity. It's a nice buck for him. But I think Michael Williams is going to
How
take
much they getting a loan from Fat Joe?
Oh,
How much?
Michael Williams, I think, is going to take a beating. Adrian Broner
you worry about
maybe
that.
will let his hands go.
If he
Maybe.
does,
We'll see.
I'd say who's important in this match is Williams' corner. If they care for
Be
him,
ready to throw that
and they-
towel in, I
get it ready.
I wish I was in this corner.
Yeah, you'd let him go.
You
Your thoughts on
get
this?
rid of the towel.
Your thoughts on this fight, and I'll get back to you as far as Broner's future.
Again,
both.
I always said that what's good for boxing is when Adrian Broner is around. He can carry a fight. He
He
can sell
can
a fight.
promotion. Yeah.
Is he a shot fighter? We know this.
We ain't gonna find out this one.
These are the type of guys you want to say, okay, I want somebody in the top 600.
Top 600.
and he got that. I'm looking forward to this fight. I just hope. Listen, I'm big on mental illness.
Yeah, you have. But carry on.
And AB stands for mental illness. And I don't know if he's healthy from the neck up. He could show up fight night and pull out. He could be all.
He's not pulling out.
Not this one, because-
there's a fat check. This one, he will not pull out of
And
this fight.
he's confident.
He
gonna-
knows he's going to do this one.
Right.
Remember, one thing he said at his press conference, he said he left PBC because they wanted him to fight a monster or something else. He said at BLK, I get to pick my fighters
Right.
and fight for the same amount of money or more.
Again,
Who's the guy he called soft? Was that Ellerby or whatever?
Who El Hay? I don't know.
the
Ellerby?
black guy.
Oh, it was Ellerby. Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing, like I said, I didn't. Luther knows
Wait,
more
wait,
about
wait.
Williams than I
You ain't
do.
with me. Shut that up. Yeah, I remember that. That was a classic line.
Luther knows more about Williams than I do. I don't remember that fight,
Mm.
but from what I read, a lot of people are very disappointed in this fight that it's going to take place because it's supposed to be a really bad mismatch.
It
We
is, it
talk
is.
about wrestling
You
all
don't
the
get the
time.
boxing BET like Luther. We don't get that channel.
I don't get that.
You're talking about a former world champion. You're talking about a guy who just went through police academy a couple years ago and he is fighting part time.
Who, Mike
it's
Williams?
It's
Remember,
a bad
remember we were growing
mismatch.
up wrestling? They would have Killer Khan against some guy, Frank Williams. Remember they used to call them squash matches. Remember
Yeah,
that?
I mean,
Where it would be-
When you're down to your third choice,
Yeah.
you're kind of. But
But they
I
could
didn't
have
think
found
I didn't
somebody
think they would
better.
scrape this low. I mean, this guy. Yeah,
look at
I
the
don't think
record.
the record.
yeah, but
yeah,
Jim-
as we know, you could build up a lot of records. How many guys did we send to West Virginia that build up a 30-0? They got into with somebody real and they almost lost their life in the ring. I mean, you can
That's
build up
what's
a
scary.
record.
From what I'm reading,
You can build up a
this is
record in some of these
huge
places.
mismatch.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
Okay, so
Adrian
if
Broner's a
Broner
world
dominates, does this mean he's going to get a big fight next? I don't
but
think it does.
no, but confidence-wise, maybe he'll start letting his hands go again.
Yeah, but Luther, you know who you're fighting.
You know you're fighting, but I just think we haven't seen Broner really let his hands go.
Since
he was
he
just
was
sitting back.
130.
Right. He was just sitting back, taking beatings,
You know,
not throwing, and
there
then
was
saying he
two
won the
guys.
fight.
There was two guys that I said were incredibly talented physically that I thought could be superstars in the sport, and that was Shannon Briggs and Adrian Broner.
Two lazy brothers.
But both of them had belts, but I don't think they came anywhere near
No.
the popularity and the Hall of Fame careers like I expected.
AB tried to follow Floyd, but he didn't put in the work that Floyd put in.
Floyd put the work in.
put the work in the gym. He wasn't out there getting drunk and all over social
Throwing
media doing wild
money in the
stuff.
toilet and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff. He had some of the wildest videos you'll ever see on social media. That's the difference. Floyd was always in the gym. He might party, but he would always get his work in. AB
Yeah, I seen
running
it. I
around
seen
looking
the
like Rick
Spatafor.
Ross
I
belly.
seen the Spatafor thing where he quit on Spatafor, Floyd. Yeah, I seen that.
Oh, you going back to some sparring,
Just
Jim?
saying,
He didn't
just
quit.
saying, in the gym. That was in the gym.
That was not quick.
Two-part question. Will Adrian Broner get a title shot?
No.
And will he win it?
No, there's no title shot. I know Regis Prograde said hey, he's willing to challenge AB, give him a shot at the belt. He'll never win another belt.
But
I
do you
don't
think he'll
he's
get a
dedicated.
title shot?
No.
Because
no.
of his name.
Maybe Regis,
Money.
because everybody's ducking Regis. Regis can't get the Teofimo Lopez fight. He can't get the Ramirez fight. They both are openly ducking him. Maybe AB says, hey, let me try a Regis. That would be all bad for AB.
Oh, smoking?
He don't need a belt to make money and to sell a fight. He's a natural. He can sell.
He's an attraction, huh,
he,
Jim?
He knows how to sell. He is.
But he's going to eventually have to
entertainment
fight, move up the competition.
He can't fight a Michael Williams, a guy ranked 500th. Or
Brenner's not that
factor.
popular.
We seen a guy here in Pittsburgh. If he would have followed the blueprint,
Yeah.
would have been selling out.
But he was popular here.
Yeah.
Who you talking about?
I
Yeah,
don't want to mention no names.
Yeah,
but,
Jim's right. He's on the button
but,
on that. But does
yeah.
Broner have that kind of popularity out there? That
He
guy
knows
you're
how
talking
to
about was
sell.
popular here. He wouldn't have drew 3 people somewhere else.
But AB is a guy.
AB does still
I
have
would
a
go-
name.
I would go anywhere. I would pay.
Go to
watch
Atlanta.
him
You going to
fight,
Atlanta to
'cause
see
he
this
knows
fight,
how to
Jim?
fight, huh?
You going to Atlanta to see this fight?
Well,
No.
Well,
No,
when we
you're
come
not.
back, our popular segment, the boxing mailbag, so come back to the boxing authorities. Welcome back to the Boxing Authorities, our popular segment, the Boxing Mailbag. Please continue to send your great questions and comments to boxingmailbag@yahoo.com or at my website, claudiorelsano.com. Okay, all three again. Ramon from New York City. Have you guys ever visited the Boxing Hall of Fame? If so, thoughts on it? I think I'm the only one. They won't allow you there. You haven't been there yet. It's very nice. If you drive too quick, you're going to pass it. I think hopefully they expand it. A lot of historical things. I was in the ring where Ali fought, and Ali Frazier and all those guys.
Wow.
And they have the fists, the cement fists. Beautiful thing to go to. Definitely go to it. But the ceremony, Hall of Fame ceremony, the parade is great. The golf event is great. And the thing is, there's a restaurant called Graziano's where you just see guys walking in. You see all these Hagler walking in. When I was there, James Toney, and of course Donnie Lalonde, and all these guys. And you sit down and talk to them. It's a great event. You get close to these guys, and it's really a lot of fun. So I definitely
is
advise
Bradley
them.
going in this year?
Yeah,
And I'm boycott.
Yeah, really. Yeah, no Vinny again, but which had to pack the place.
man.
Okay, Claudio and Luther. Marty from Cleveland. Do you guys really disagree with Jim that much? And what do you agree with him on? Name some things. His
Thank you.
heavyweight best claim is growing on me. Marty, we're worried about you, Marty.
Yes, sir.
Good, Luther. What do we agree on him about?
Well, that the ring is square. That's about all
He
I
didn't
agree.
say that though. He didn't
That's about
say
all.
that.
He might say it's a rectangle. I don't know. But yeah, Jim has some outlandish statements.
Some of them were right.
Some of
Gotta
them were
give him
right. I
credit.
got to give him credit. You know, what you said about Vinny, I didn't believe it, but you
didn't
played
either.
Vinny saying
didn't
the
either.
pitchfork was right. So we disagree, but Jim is out there.
We agree a lot.
When you're on your match, yeah, we do.
All three. Anita from Seattle, which if the color was right, you can see I got Seattle Seahawk colors
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Okay, there are so many great female boxers today.
Yes.
Why are there more than there were, say, 20 years ago? I just started watching your show, and I enjoy it very much. Claudio, your intro is spot on, informative, entertaining. Keep up the great work. Plus, you guys look great. Well, thank you, Anita. We appreciate that. Luther, why is there better female? And you said earlier about the way they look, throwing. They don't look awkward. They're not slugging. Why?
Yeah. I think, the training, now, while I criticize the men, I think the women's training is so much better now. You have females that are training from, when they're teenagers on up. They're involved in the sport. They're dedicated to the sport.
point.
I think back in the day, the Layla Ali's and some of the Fraziers, a lot of them just came because, hey, my dad, I can make a
Great
quick buck.
point as far as starting
And they were
early.
fighting. And they
Very
were
good.
fighting
So disrespectful.
females that weren't as skilled as them. Christy Martin was very skilled, very tough. But once she got in there with Ali, she got exposed a little bit.
I think Luther's point that they start early is huge. The Italians have a saying, give me the kid, you take the adult. It's better to learn early than it is late. Your thoughts on the female boxers?
Well, after Layla Ali and Christy Martin and Sue Wolf and them, the women boxing went all the way down. So it is better now, and it's built back up. But it has a long way to go, but I think they have the athletes to do it.
It's time to go. As always, we appreciate you guys watching us and girls. We hope you enjoy the show as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Now I think it's working. It's not. Come on back to the Boxing Authorities. Talk to you guys later.